When whispers about a superstar's pregnancy collide with messy relationships and high-profile drama, the truth can spiral into something bigger than anyone expected. And in this case, Cardi B, Stefon Diggs, and Offset found themselves at the center of a story no one saw coming. The internet moves fast, and when the rumor first broke that Stefon Diggs might be expecting a child with Cardi B, the story spread like wildfire. Screenshots, fan theories, and cryptic social posts fueled the frenzy, with people dissecting every detail for hidden clues. Some fans were convinced it was all a misunderstanding, while others swore the evidence was undeniable. Either way, the idea of a top NFL star and one of hip-hop's biggest names caught in a possible pregnancy twist had everyone talking. But that was only the beginning. When the rumor of Cardi B being pregnant with Stefon Diggs' baby began making the rounds, fans expected silence, maybe even a denial. What they didn't expect was for Stefon's baby mama to jump in and clown Cardi in the middle of the storm. Her reaction didn't come off as subtle shade. It was bold, loud, and almost impossible to ignore. Instead of playing it safe or brushing it off, she went straight for the jugular, making it clear she wasn't impressed with the idea of Cardi stepping into her territory. Whether it was through cryptic posts, pointed emojis, or direct words that fans swore were aimed at Cardi, the message was simple. She wasn't going to sit quietly while the internet crowned Cardi as the new queen in Stefon's life. And this wasn't just about clout. For people who follow Stefon's personal life, they know his baby mama has been a consistent presence, someone who's already tied to him through family and history. So when Cardi's name entered the conversation, she wasn't just reacting as an outsider throwing shade. She was defending her place in a narrative that was already messy enough. The internet, of course, ate it up. Screenshots of her posts spread across fan pages and gossip blogs, with people debating whether her words were petty or perfectly justified. Some fans praised her for speaking her mind, calling it a bold move against a global superstar. Others thought she was just trying to stay relevant, using Cardi's name as a springboard to grab attention. Either way, she had the spotlight, and she wasn't about to let it fade. What really made it hit harder was the timing. Cardi was already in a fragile place, navigating a divorce from Offset, dealing with endless public speculation, and now facing a rumor that tied her to another high-profile man. For Stefon's baby mama to swoop in and clown her during that chaos, it didn't just stir the pot, it poured gasoline on the fire. And fans weren't shy about picking sides. Some argued that Cardi didn't deserve the shade, pointing out that the rumor itself wasn't even confirmed. Others thought it was fair game, saying Cardi should have expected backlash the moment her name got linked to Stefon. The debate turned into a full-on spectacle, dragging more eyes into the story every hour. But the part that truly shook people came next, because while the baby mama's reaction turned heads, what Offset did in response made the entire situation spiral in a way nobody could have predicted. Offset has never been one to bite his tongue, and when the rumor mill started spinning out of control, his reaction was impossible to ignore. Even though he and Cardi were in the middle of a divorce, the idea of her being tied to Stefon Diggs, especially through something as permanent as a child, wasn't just a headline. It hit his pride, his image, and the foundation of a relationship that had been under the microscope for years. At first, his reaction came through in ways that fans couldn't quite pin down. Some pointed to a few cryptic posts, a couple of eyebrow-raising likes on Twitter, and one Instagram story that seemed like it was dripping with subliminal shots. Was Offset throwing shade, or was he just venting emotions that had been building long before the rumor hit? The internet didn't need confirmation. They filled in the blanks themselves, painting Offset as the hurt ex watching his estranged wife move on with a flashy NFL star. For many, it felt like déjà vu. The same drama and tension that had defined so much of Offset and Cardi's marriage, playing out all over again, only this time with an entirely new name in the mix. But then came the escalation. Offset reportedly made it clear he wasn't about to let the situation slide. Whether it was frustration boiling over in private or subtle digs in public, he wanted people to know he had feelings about Cardi being linked to another man. Some fans even claimed that his words carried a tone of ownership, as though he couldn't fully accept the idea that Cardi was moving forward without him. And here's where the story really grabbed hold of people. Because it wasn't just about Offset reacting to gossip. It was about him reacting while still legally tied to Cardi. That meant every post, every reaction, and every rumor carried the weight of their unfinished divorce. If Cardi really was pregnant during this messy split, the law could still recognize Offset as the father. That detail alone made every reaction feel heavier, more desperate, and a lot more dramatic. The clash between Cardi's rumored new life and Offset's lingering presence turned into a spectacle fans couldn't look away from. Gossip accounts posted updates by the minute. TikTok creators broke down every lyric, every post, and every rumor, while Twitter exploded with hot takes. Offset wasn't just reacting, he was fueling the storyline, whether he meant to or not. And yet, as loud as Offset's presence was in the drama, the real chaos wasn't happening online. It was waiting in courtrooms and legal documents, because the overlap between Cardi's personal life and her legal battles brought a whole new layer of complications nobody could ignore. If the rumors surrounding Cardi B and Stefon Diggs weren't messy enough on their own, the legal side of things made everything 10 times more complicated. At the time all of this was happening, Cardi wasn't just rumored to be moving on. She was still in the process of divorcing Offset, and here's the part that had fans and legal experts buzzing. Under the law, if a woman is still married when she becomes pregnant, her husband is presumed to be the legal father of that child. That meant Offset's name could be automatically tied to Cardi's rumored pregnancy, regardless of who the biological father actually was. For Offset, this wasn't just tabloid drama. It was a real possibility that he could be dragged into the situation in ways that had nothing to do with love or loyalty. Custody issues, financial obligations, and legal battles were suddenly on the table. And for Cardi, it raised a painful question. Was she stepping into an even bigger storm than the one she was trying to escape? The emotional toll was obvious. Cardi had already been navigating one of the most public and dramatic breakups in hip-hop. Her marriage to Offset had been under scrutiny for years, marked by cheating scandals, reconciliations, and endless speculation about whether they'd ever truly find stability. Filing for divorce was supposed to be the reset button, a chance to reclaim her independence. But the rumors about Stefon Diggs shifted the focus away from her healing process and threw her back into a cycle of chaos she never asked for. Stefon wasn't off the hook either. While the internet buzzed about his supposed involvement, he faced the reality of having his name dragged into one of the most headline-grabbing stories of the year. As an NFL star, Diggs was no stranger to public attention, but being linked to Cardi B in the middle of a messy divorce wasn't the type of publicity he or his team wanted. Every rumor, every post, and every paparazzi question chipped away at the polished image he'd built on the field. For fans, this legal twist changed everything. What started as gossip now had real-life stakes, making the drama feel heavier and far more complicated than anyone expected. It wasn't just about who Cardi was dating or what Offset thought about it. It was about the legal system, financial futures, and the emotional weight of being caught in a situation where love, money, and family were all tangled together. And just when it seemed like the story couldn't get any wilder, the drama jumped from online rumors to a chaotic real-world scene. One that left Cardi at the center of a media meltdown that nobody could stop talking about. The internet gossip was already out of control, but the moment Cardi B stepped into the real world and faced the paparazzi, everything went nuclear. It happened outside a California courthouse, where Cardi was already under stress from ongoing divorce proceedings with Offset. Reporters swarmed her with questions, but one question cut straight to the center of the storm. Is it true you're pregnant with Stefon Diggs' baby? That was the moment Cardi snapped. Instead of ignoring it or walking away, she let her anger take control. In a split second, she hurled the marker she was holding straight at the paparazzo who dared to ask. Her words that followed echoed louder than any headline. Respect women. It wasn't a long speech, but it didn't have to be. That one outburst told the world exactly how much pressure she was under, and exactly how sick she was of the constant speculation. The clip spread online within minutes. TMZ had it, Twitter had it, TikTok had it, everyone had it. Some fans applauded Cardi for standing her ground, saying she shouldn't have to tolerate invasive questions about her personal life. Others, though, thought she'd gone too far, calling the outburst unprofessional and even embarrassing. The divide only added more fuel to an already blazing fire. And here's what made it even more explosive. Cardi didn't deny the pregnancy rumor in that moment. She didn't clear the air or shut it down. By reacting the way she did, angrily and defensively, she left the door wide open for speculation. People started asking, if it's not true, why not just say so? The silence, paired with the outburst, created a vacuum that fans and gossip sites were more than happy to fill with their own theories. For Cardi, it was a lose-lose situation. On one hand, ignoring the question would have fueled the rumor. On the other hand, reacting so strongly gave it even more legs. And the worst part? The meltdown shifted the narrative. What started as speculation about her personal life now became a conversation about her behavior, her mental state, and whether she could handle the pressure of being in the public eye during such a turbulent time. But as chaotic as the courthouse scene was, it wasn't the end. Because once the dust settled, attention turned back to Cardi's relationship with Stefon Diggs. Were they really together? Had they split? And what did all of this mean for the future of both their careers and personal lives? The courthouse meltdown only amplified the question everyone was asking. What exactly was going on between Cardi B and Stefon Diggs? For months, their relationship had been a roller coaster, on again, off again, and constantly shifting in ways that left fans struggling to keep up. At first, the pairing seemed like a wild rumor. A Grammy-winning rapper and an NFL wide receiver? It felt too random to be true. But then came the confirmations. Paparazzi photos surfaced of the two spotted together. Cardi showed up at events where Stefon was playing, and little hints dropped on social media that made it clear there was more than just casual interaction. Suddenly, what started as whispers turned into a full-blown relationship that had the internet hooked. For a while, things looked picture-perfect. Cardi appeared genuinely happy, posting cryptic but affectionate captions that fans were sure were about Stefon. He, in turn, seemed to enjoy the spotlight of being connected to one of the biggest names in music. For Cardi, the timing made sense. After years of rocky ups and downs with Offset, Stefon felt like a clean break, someone far removed from the rap world's tangled drama. But then the cracks started to show. Stories leaked, suggesting they weren't as solid as they appeared. Friends close to Cardi hinted that she was conflicted, torn between her feelings for Stefon and the baggage of her ongoing divorce. Meanwhile, Stefon's own past, especially with his baby mama still active in his life, kept resurfacing and complicating the narrative. Fans started noticing Cardi wasn't posting about him as much, and rumors spread that the two had quietly broken up. That uncertainty gave the pregnancy rumor even more weight. If Cardi and Stefon were no longer together, why was her name still tied to him so heavily? Was there unfinished business behind the scenes? Or had the internet simply run wild with speculation? Regardless of the truth, the lack of clarity worked against Cardi. Every silence, every deleted tweet, and every vague post added fuel to the fire. The media painted her as someone caught between a past she couldn't escape and a future she couldn't fully control. And for Stefon, the constant cycle of attention threatened to overshadow his career. Instead of being celebrated for his plays on the field, his name was now tied to one of the biggest celebrity scandals of the year. The uncertainty only made people watch closer. Every move Cardi made, every appearance Stefon had, became another clue to dissect. And as fans pieced together the story, the question became impossible to ignore. What did all of this mean for Cardi, Stefon, and even Offset? By this point, the story wasn't just about rumors or reactions. It was about what all of this meant for the three people caught in the middle. Cardi B, Stefon Diggs, and Offset each had their own reputations, careers, and futures on the line. And the fallout from this tangled drama stretched far beyond social media comments. For Cardi, the stakes were personal and professional. She had spent years building an empire, balancing her music, her brand, and her role as a mother. The constant speculation about her relationship with Stefon, mixed with the stress of her divorce from Offset, left her in a position where every move was scrutinized. Supporters worried about her mental health, pointing to her courthouse meltdown as proof of the unbearable pressure. Detractors, however, questioned her choices, arguing that linking up with Stefon in the middle of a divorce was reckless. Either way, the drama distracted from her artistry and shifted the narrative from her career to her personal life. For Stefon, the situation was just as messy. Known for his explosive plays on the football field, he suddenly found himself trending more for his alleged relationship than his athletic performance. Fans of the NFL questioned whether the constant headlines would affect his focus and whether being tied to one of the most polarizing celebrities in the world was worth it. On top of that, His baby mama's bold move to clown Cardi kept his name tied to family drama he might have preferred to keep private. Instead of silence, he became part of a circus he didn't publicly comment on, leaving others to tell his story for him. And then there was Offset. Even though he and Cardi were legally separating, the presumption of paternity during a marriage put him in an awkward, unavoidable spotlight. Beyond the law, Offset's pride was at stake. Watching his estranged wife tied to another high-profile man and being taunted by rumors that the child might not even be his was a bitter pill to swallow. His subtle reactions only intensified speculation, and whether he liked it or not, his name remained central to the drama. For fans, it became less about who was right or wrong and more about what the fallout could mean. Would Cardi's brand suffer under the weight of endless scandal? Would Stefon's career take a hit from the distraction? Would Offset ever truly walk away from the shadow of Cardi's story? The drama wasn't just entertainment anymore. It was a test of resilience, reputation, and reality. And the question everyone kept asking was simple. Who would come out of this storm stronger, and who would be left picking up the pieces? At the end of the day, the saga of Cardi B, Stefon Diggs, and Offset was never just about a single rumor. It was about how quickly speculation can spiral into a story bigger than anyone can control. What began as whispers online turned into a public feud, fueled by baby mama shade, Offset's raw reactions, and Cardi's explosive courthouse moment. For Cardi, it became another reminder of how fame magnifies every detail of her life, leaving her little room to separate the personal from the public. For Stefon, it meant navigating a storm he never publicly addressed, yet couldn't avoid. And for Offset, it meant being pulled back into drama he thought he was leaving behind, forced to watch the world speculate about his estranged wife's next chapter. But what makes this story so magnetic isn't just the names involved, it's the uncertainty. The questions hanging in the air keep people watching. Is Cardi really pregnant? Will the legal system pull Offset back into the picture whether he wants it or not? And where does this leave Stefon, caught between his career and the headlines? In the end, the truth may take time to surface. But one thing is clear. When love, loyalty, and fame collide under the glare of the spotlight, there are no clean breaks and no easy answers. Only more questions and more drama waiting just around the corner. So what do you think? Is this just another wild rumor blown out of proportion? Or is it the beginning of a story that's about to get even bigger? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.